Hey, what's going on, my friend? It's Jeff Newport from ChasingStrength.com. And in today's video, we are going to cover the top 5 fat-burning, muscle-building kettlebell exercises for men, particularly men over 40. All right, so since we're all men over 40, we don't have a lot of time, and time is at a premium, let's jump right in, okay? Real quick, here's a little background. I've trained people from all walks of life using kettlebells since 2002. Okay, so at the time of this filming, that is 23 years. January 2002 is when I started. And now these include regular folks, military and special operators, first responders, businessmen, stay-at-home moms, you name it, I've trained them, right? Law enforcement. And as a result, I've noticed that there are 5 standout kettlebell exercises every man over 40 should be doing if he can do so, okay? Now, that's because these exercises transform men's bodies from soft and weak and flabby to lean, hard, and strong. And they do it in less time than traditional exercises, okay? Now, this is especially true for older guys who may have high mileage and lower anabolic hormone levels, which these exercises appear to reverse. Now, no, I don't have any scientific proof for that, okay, necessarily. I haven't done any blood draws or anything like that. It's just empirical data from my customers and clients, okay? So what are these 5 exercises? Well, without further ado, here they are, 1 through 5. Okay, number 1 is the double kettlebell clean and press. Number 2 is the double clean and push press. Number 3 is the double front squat. Number 4 is the single snatch. And number 5 is the goblet squat. Now coming in at number 6 in honorable mention is the Turkish get-up. Now what you might notice here is there is a glaring absence of the kettlebell swing, regardless of the style. Now kettlebell swing is a great exercise in all its forms, 2-hand, 1-hand, hand-to-hand. But if you can do the first 4 exercises on this list, there really is no need for the kettlebell swing, all right? Now why is that? That's a pretty strong statement, I bet you're wondering. And I bet you may be thinking, well, the reason being is the kettlebell swing does not directly work the upper body, all right? Especially the pressing muscles, which most guys are interested in, right? Those are the muscles that give you bigger upper chest, bigger shoulders, bigger arms, right? Even bigger traps, depending on how you press, all right? Now, little quick side note, the modern kettlebell exercise regimen is based upon the swing, 2-hand swing, 1-hand swing, all right? So make sure you're proficient at both of those swing variations, okay, before you move on to the top 5 in this particular list. Now, why am I such a big fan of these exercises? Well, it's because of my background in the sport of Olympic weightlifting, right? And in that sport, we compete in 2 lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. Now, in case you don't know this, the weightlifters, the Olympic lifters are, for lack of a better term, the alpha predators in the strength sports world. They display the perfect blend of raw strength and explosive power that's unmatched anywhere else, okay? Now, you might disagree with me on this, but then you'd be wrong, all right? So let's take a closer, more in-depth look at what makes each one of these exercises so valuable for guys like us over 40, okay? Number 1, the double kettlebell clean and press. Now, the double kettlebell clean and press is a highly valuable exercise because it uses practically every single muscle in your body. In fact, old-time strongman Sig Klein called the two dumbbells, clean and press, the one best lift. Okay, and he claimed that the early 20th century European weightlifting champs owed their strength, power, and muscularity to this one lift alone. So I figure if it's good enough for Sig and those guys, well, you draw your own conclusions. Plus, when you do enough reps, it stokes the fire of your metabolism, all right? So it helps your body burn a bunch of calories while training your heart and lungs at the same time. So what that means is, in layman's terms, practical rubber meets the road terms, the double kettlebell clean and press is good for your heart health and your waistline, and it helps you defeat the battle of the proverbial bulge, okay? In fact, what I've noticed is there seems to be a magical or near magical effect on body composition that results from combining an explosive lift like the clean with a slow grind lift like the press. Simultaneous muscle growth / strength gain and body fat loss is what we call muscle recomposition, okay? Number 2, the double kettlebell clean and push press. Now, this is a close number 2 to the double kettlebell clean and press. Okay, now, if you don't know what a push press is, here's a quick review. It's a press that you cheat with by using your legs. You first dip your body with a quick knee bend and then straighten your legs quickly, explosively, driving the kettlebells up over your head. Now, why would you do a push press? Well, It allows you to make heavier than you can press kettlebells start feeling light, so then you can one day press them. Okay, makes pretty good sense when you break it down like that. Plus, the extra dip and explosive drive with your legs jacks up your heart rate. Okay, so you get a little extra bonus conditioning, so to speak. Now, also, a little side note here, the double kettlebell clean and push press is a worthy substitute for the double kettlebell clean and jerk, which most desk jockeys can't manage, okay, due to stiff thoracic or T-spines developed from years and decades even of sitting at a desk, okay? All right, let's move on to number 3, the double front squat, okay? Now, the double front squat is really the foundational double kettlebell lift, at least in my book, okay? This is what I found over the last 20 plus years. Okay, now, if you want to know the exact reasons why, well, I cover it in great detail in my video series and manual called Kettlebell Strong. But suffice to say, okay, the double kettlebell front squat, teaches you how to stay tight under a pair of kettlebells while making your entire body tremendously stronger in and through the process. And as a result of the process even, okay? In fact, it punishes your midsection in a good way in most cases, and it makes your abs automatically work, okay? So automatically, right, with the old air quotes here. And as a result, this automatic work, also called a reflexive abdominal contraction, for some guys, okay, creates access or recreates access to long lost hip mobility, which in turn restores your squat depth. In other words, without the double kettlebell front squat, you couldn't access long lost squat depth, all right, which is great for protecting your lower back and provides a fantastic alternative to the barbell back squat. Okay. And also, I mean, the reality is it opens up training your legs in ways that probably haven't been imaginable for a decade or more. Now, for most, the double kettlebell front squat is a more than sufficient replacement for any barbell squat, especially the most popular of all squats, the barbell back squat. Now, you may not believe me, so here's what we'll do. Go out, grab a pair of 32 kilo kettlebells and squat it for 20 consecutive reps. All right. I'll wait. All right, just kidding. I'm not waiting. You could do that on your own time. Let's move to number 4. The number 4 exercise is the single kettlebell snatch. Now, the snatch is my hands down favorite power exercise. What is power? Well, power is a quality we lose as we age, along with the ever important and also important fast twitch muscle fibers. Okay. These are the muscle fibers that help us run faster, jump higher, and lift heavier. Now, research has demonstrated that we lose 10% of our muscle mass if we don't specifically train for it every decade over the age of 30. Okay. Now, most importantly, that muscle mass comes from your fast twitch muscle fibers, and they're the ones that allow you to run faster, jump higher, lift heavier weight. In other words, be explosive. And that's why it's super important to train for power. And that is also why you see so many guys in their 70s shaped like Christmas trees. Yeah, you know the ones, right? They look like this. And that's because they've lost the muscle in their upper bodies, and they now store even more fat around their middles, even though they maybe haven't gained weight since they were in high school, right? Now, this power failure, so to speak, this loss of fast twitch muscle fibers makes us more prone, to slipping, falling, and breaking a hip, which, by the way, in case you don't know, is the number one fear of men and women over 60. Fortunately, we can reverse this power failure with the snatch. Plus, we can create wicked levels of conditioning using it, which boosts our daily energy levels and whittles body fat off our midsections, okay? Now, number 5 is the goblet squat. Now, the goblet squat is a great squat restoration exercise that pries open and greases rusty hip and knee joints when you perform it correctly, okay? Similar to the double kettlebell front squat, it too creates reflexive muscular contraction of your core muscles. In other words, when you grab that kettlebell, okay, and you hold it right here, your abs naturally contract, or they plank up on their own without you having to tell them to do so. That's the reflexive part, okay? This is super important because this reflexive abdominal contraction automatically stabilizes your spine and pelvis, which in turn unlocks and restores the squat depth that many guys haven't seen since their teenage years. In fact, the goblet squat is so powerful, you need to learn how to use it and be comfortable doing it before you even touch the double kettlebell front squat. Now, here's a little known fact that most people don't know. The goblet squat also helps build the hinge pattern necessary for your hip dominant kettlebell ballistics, like the swing, the clean, and the snatch. It's a worthy alternative for the double kettlebell front squat. And you really should have this exercise, this lift, right? The goblet squat mastered before you move on to the double kettlebell front squat. Okay, now honorable mention goes to the Turkish get-up. That's number 6 on our list of 5. Okay, I'm not sure how that works, but that's how it works. Now, why are we including this? Okay, well, it's for the simple reason that every man and woman, especially every man over the age of 40, needs to practice getting up and down off the floor. And the Turkish get-up is the exercise to help you do just that. Plus, if you haven't played around with it, the TGU or the Turkish get-up or the get-up, whatever you want to call it, is a fantastic shoulder restoration exercise, right, to compensate and rebuild you from years of heavy bench press abuse. Okay. Now, this list goes without saying that you should have built a fairly strong kettlebell foundation with swings, right, the 2-hand, the 1-hand, and the Turkish get-ups, right, which is why, again, the Turkish get-up didn't make the top 5. Well, I'll leave a link to a program around these 5 exercises, specifically the double kettlebell clean and press, the double kettlebell front squat, and the single kettlebell snatch, called Kettlebell Maximorum, in the video description below. Okay, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment section below this video, or feel free to email me at support@chasingstrength.com, and I'll get back to you in around 48, 72 hours or thereabouts. Okay, so hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, click the like button, smash the subscribe button, share it with a friend who you know needs this information. Okay, until next time, my friend, stay strong.